to remember my name as you think about America, Carol.
Perfect.
Okay, that's the hardest thing you're gonna learn today. So thanks, guys, for staying around, guys and gals. I have a question for you. Have you ever heard the saying, it's not what we sell, but it's the stories we tell?
Yes.
When you tell a story, anybody got some good stories? Whether it's a guy story, right? Motocross. My husband has all the stories because he was just a mess as a kid, right? So I sometimes tell his stories because I got nothing, right, as a kid. But anyway, but when you tell a story, it really engages somebody and brings you closer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just like the story with Bryce and Florio, I'm like, my heart's going out to you guys, right? So GFI, you inspired me to tell my story. Now I had to take a year to tell it, to write it, and ChatGPT helped me in not make stuff up, but put it in the more emotional framework so that I could identify with clients and or agents, or actually agents that are new to this industry, right? Because it's so much more motivating when it reaches home to somebody, right? When you buy a product, guys, what's the last big item product you bought? What?
I don't know.
What? Tell me just anything that you liked, your hobby, whatever. What's the last big price item you bought?
An Audi.
Audi. Love Audis, by the way. Did the color mean something to you?
Yes.
The model?
Yes.
Did the engine, the way the engine sounded, did that mean something to you?
For me.
For a guy.
Yes.
Come on. All right. So everybody know where I'm going here? It brings out that emotion. Now, insurance. How much emotion does that word? Like, dude, you sell life insurance. I gotta go. Right? Or you sell annuities. I gotta go. So how do you bring that to life where somebody's motivated? Because it is a necessity, as you saw, right? It's a huge necessity. It's just it's not tangible. You can't get in a life insurance policy or an annuity and drive away and look like the hottest selling guy around, right? It just doesn't do that for somebody, right? Right? I mean, if you smoke the right cigarettes, you're going to look like the coolest person around, right? Annuities and life insurance doesn't do that, right? That's what will put you in this insurance policy, right? So this is my story, and it's probably about 5 minutes, so just stick with me. My personal story about my life and where I grew up and who I am, why I am who I am, and what this business means to me. Let me start by saying my mother was 13 and my father was 27 when they each came to America. They didn't know each other, but they shared one thing, a deep desire to make life better. They were Hungarian immigrants who fled the 1956 revolution. Escaping Soviet communism was a little more than hope. Chicago was nothing like the Hungary they knew. I'm trying to stay away from this light, sorry, because it's like blinding. Chicago was nothing like the Hungary they knew, but it buzzed with opportunity. They didn't speak much English, but they understood hard work. My father worked as an electrician, my mother was an accounting clerk. They met at a Hungarian social dance when that was a thing, married 3 years later. Growing up, nothing was wasted. Every penny mattered. My mother used aluminum foil. She sent used clothes to Hungary because they were still under communism. My father saved screws and unwound copper, small engine, that resell. And as a kid, I look around Chicago, I'm going to Chicago schools, Christmas time. Kids all come with their Christmas, right? You're like, and then everybody else, it seems easier. It's like, why are my parents so complicating things? Why all this extra work they were doing? So one day I asked my mom, what was it really like living under communism? Was it really that hard? And this is what she said to me. She said, Daddy Cat, many times I left the house at 5:30 rode my bike for a half an hour to stand in a ration line just to get 1 pound of bread. The bread only lasted 1 day for our family of 11. 2-bedroom house, the parents, the grandparents on both sides, and even the great-grandparents lived there. Okay? We grew wheat and potatoes, milked cows, gathered eggs, but we had to give it all to the government. That was communism. They decided what we got back. The government basically owned the shirt on our back. That was my light bulb moment. When everything made sense to me. The hand-me-down clothes I wore. No allowance. If I wanted something, I had to earn it. So my first job was sales. I convinced my neighbors to let me shovel their sidewalks and stairs. Okay, in Chicago. Then babysitting, then fast food. And with those small paychecks came something powerful. Dignity and independence. The belief that I could shape my future and not just inherit it. As I got older, I realized my parents weren't stingy. They were prepared. They pinched pennies not because they didn't want us to have things, but because they wanted us to have security. They didn't give me money. They gave me grit, determination, dignity, and independence. So let me ask you something. Isn't that exactly what you do as financial professionals? Isn't that your goal, to give your clients dignity and independence? Educate them about money. You give them peace of mind. You give them confidence. You teach families how not to live in fear. That's powerful. That's why what you do matters. But just as important, the company you sell matters. Because when families sit across from you on the table, by the table, they're not just buying S&P cap rate or bonus, they're buying trust. And trust doesn't come from promises. It comes from proven companies. That's why GFI matters. That's why Corbridge Financial, formerly known as AIG, matters. Corbridge is nothing new, is not a new company. We're a big, strong, safe company. $400 billion assets under management, over 100 plus years of history. We are number 3 in total annuity sales. I think we're number 10 in life insurance sales. I'm on the annuity side. Corbridge delivers where it counts. Let me give you some examples. Competitive S&P 500 cap rates. Today it's 9.5%, but unfortunately I just shared the news with Bryce. On Monday, the rates are going down on our S&P cap to 8.75. Why is it going down? Because if anybody is in the mortgage business here, okay, our rates come down. The Fed rate? Do you have 10-year? 10-year? Yeah.
Yeah, the 10-year treasury just shot up this week.
Right. So that affects our products as well. Okay? So 8.75 on Monday. But here's what matters. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. So
Jason's good.
who does that?
He's in that room.
He's hidden in that room. He's not allowed to come out.
He
So
is
thank
happy.
you, whoever's back
is
there.
awesome.
8.75. Everybody know how the S&P cap works? So for those of you that don't, let's say the market, S&P 500, gives us 10% for the year. Last year, 2025, it returned 16.5%. You can't directly invest in the S&P 500. It's a broad index. But it's 500 of the most U.S. largest cap companies. By the way, anybody own Apple, shop Amazon, Walmart, use Microsoft products, Coca-Cola products, General Mills, anybody, Johnson & Johnson, anybody know you buy any or use any of those products? You contribute to the S&P 500, the growth. Okay? gives us 10% or 17%. If you bought a safe money solution, I call it, because I don't necessarily with clients, I don't necessarily use the A word, because they think of sometimes negative things. Annuity, right? But I always share with them, hey, my safe money solution, because it is a safe money solution, allows you to participate in the peaks of the market, but none of the valleys. So, in the peaks of the market, you're getting the 8.75, whatever the S&P is giving you. But if the S&P is only give us 2%, what are you going to get? 2, right? It just is what it is. Our performance trigger rate, how that works, it's kind of neat. It's also a cap of 665, but guess what? If the S&P only gives us 2%, guess what you get with the performance trigger? 665. But if the S&P gives you 10%, you only get 665. So it's very good strategy. But what I like about those two, and by the way, the column on the right is for the crediting rates for our income rider, which we really won't go into a lot today, but it's always going to be lower because you have an income benefit which provides retirement income for the rest of the client class. It's a different story. But right now we're just talking about a growth. What are our rates? Yes, we have uncapped strategies as well. But here's what I want to share with you. When you're trying to grow your business, you're building relationships, and you're talking about strategies, would you say that it would be safe to be best to under-promise and then over-deliver, or over-promise and then under-deliver? Which loses the most credibility? The opposite. Over-promise, under-deliver. So you could sell uncapped strategies on IUL or annuities, but seller beware, buyer beware. Those strategies don't mirror what the S&P 500 does, what we see in the news. Anybody have a little market deal on their phone, snapshot, or see S&P on the news, right? They don't show these other strategies, these uncapped strategies on the news, right? So clients don't really understand how they work and why they don't perform with the S&P. But S&P, like they said, you buy those products, you drink those products, you own those products. Clients understand it. So my story is with Corbridge and the idea we keep it simple, right? When clients understand something, they buy it. When they don't understand, what's the last words that you're going to hear from them? Let me think about it. Then they're gone, right? So this is important. Corbridge management, because this is important. And then the next slide, please. This is even more important. Corbridge, our rates, renewal integrity. 90% of the time, we're going to keep it at that rate that client originally bought the contract at, with no less or no more than a half point off. Let me give you an example of how strong that is. Next slide, please. I feel like that. This is a statement. By the way, is this on the, it's because of the software. So it's supposed to have animation, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. But look on the upper, just follow me on this, because it doesn't have animation. Look on the upper right-hand corner, you see, this is a client statement for our Power 7 Protector, 7-year index annuity, a growth product, no income rider, no fees. They bought it in August 2nd, 2024, and it renewed August 2nd, 2025, right? So just act surprised when you see this. But then the next slide, that one, is supposed to show you what the client invested in. They just invested in the S&P 500 cap, and in 2024, were rates higher back then, the Fed rates, and 10-year, quite a bit. Corbridge was offering an 11.5% cap. In December of 2024, we were offering a 12% cap. Since then, it's come down since then, right? You know that. What happened a year later, guess what? The S&P gave it to this client. We didn't move the S&P, not us. We gave them the cap, but the S&P did the work. It gave them, actually, it did more. But they earned 11.5 with us, with no downside. But now this is when you're supposed to act surprised, because you're not supposed to see this part. Upcoming contract value allocation for their anniversary, August 2025 to 2026. Guess what our renewal rate was? Who does that? Corbin. 90% of the time, we're gonna renew the rate at that new business rate that they bought it at, and keep it there no less or no more than a half a year. That's reliability systems that are completely trust. By the way, anybody sell bonus products out here? Or have? Yeah. If you've educated your clients, what do you buy in a bonus product? It's upfront. How many pennies are there? $1? 100 pennies, right? Gloria, if I give you give me $1, I give you 20 pennies back, 20% bonus. How many more pennies do I owe you? There's only 100 pennies in $1, so 80. I don't owe you another 100, because that means I'm taking a loss. That means I'm a charity. That means I'm a charity. I'm for profit. I'm an insurance company. I gotta protect all my insurance, not just you. So I have to make a profit. People running the company, doing the paperwork, processing the claims or the distribution, right? There's only 100 pennies in $1. So if you sell a bonus product, which you have at GM5, it's okay. But just remember, it's interest up front first. You're gonna have one carrier in your prior practice firm offered a 20% bonus. Their S&P cap today is 5.5%. 5.5% on their growth product. So on an illustration, we look like schmucks because when you start at 100,000, we're only gonna show you 8.75. And that's Monday's rate. Today's rate, I don't know what they're gonna change to on Monday, but let's just say today we are at 9.5, Monday we're at 8.75. But I know if you ran an illustration today, us, and then that practice, from the practice firm, this other carrier, I wanna be kind, they're gonna look like 120,000, and we're gonna start with 100,000. So in the client's eyes, they see what? I got a bonus, right? I got something for free. Is it really free? Well, they start out with a 5.5% S&P cap rate. We start out with a 9.5%, which is what we are today. I'm sorry, we're here, they're there, so we look like schmucks. But then guess what happens over the time period? The 7th contract year, if you do a 10-year look back, guess what? We're higher. Because of our higher S&P cap and the renewal rate integrity. Does that make sense? I kind of said a lot there. Does that make sense? You follow that? Tell me if you didn't. So it's not wrong. Bonus products aren't wrong or bad. Educate the client. Educate the client. Give the client a choice. You want interest up front first, and then the rest, 80 pennies spread out, or you want higher rate and then consistency. Well, and 100 pennies in $1. Make sense? All right, next slide, please. And then finally is our income. I'll just touch on this. If you were to go the income route, you're looking for a client that's 50 and older. 50 and older that wants to roll over their money, their 401k, 40/57, 403b, into an IRA, and then they could take an income, purchase an income rider. We have 2 income riders, a max or a level. By the way, what does that income rider do while they're deferring? They're not turning it on yet. It's guaranteed to grow at 9% simple interest a year. For 10 years maximum, but on January 26th, Bryce, I think I mentioned this to you, we made an update. This 9% credits daily. A lot of annuity carriers do more of an annual credit of that 9% growth. We do daily, so let me give you a super quick example. Client 64 today, they buy the annuity today with us. In 6 months or 65, they want to turn down in 6 months. We're gonna give them half of that 9%, 104,500 for their income base, of which then we give them 7.5% of that, which is the payout factor for the rest of their life. That's called the level income. Even if the contract value eventually depletes, we don't care if they're lived to 85, 95, or 105, we're paying them 7.5 for the rest of their life. The difference with the max income, just to give you a little background, is kind of along the lines of that bonus product conversation, where we're giving you more income in the early years of retirement, what we call the go-go years. That's an industry story, Tom Hegner story, that might sound familiar. There's go-go, slow-go, and no-go years. 3 decades of retirement if you're lucky. The go-go years is 65 to 74. The slow-go, or slower going, 75 to 84. The no-go years, 85 and older. We're not driving anymore. We're picking up groceries for our parents or grandparents, right? They spend less as they age in all categories except for health insurance. So yes, they spend less in all categories except for health insurance. And so that's what the max income is for. Somebody who wants to take income right away, but they're in their go-go years. They're actually now retired. They're traveling. They're spending time and money on their grandkids. So it's an option. Traditionally, most clients like the level income because they're going to defer it and grow it, but some immediate income clients like the max income, so it's a choice. I'm forgetting what's the next slide, but surprising. Oh, there we go. My contact information. The purple QR code is mine. The black one is Reggie. He's in Washington. He's in Riverside. I don't know where I got Washington. Riverside, California. Melvin, he's our internal. All 3 of us you can get at this email. AnnuityWest@CorebridgeFinancial.com. You can get all 3 of us. With GFI, we have you're considered a national account, so let's say you have clients in New York or Florida, we have another team that will work with you. But to get that other team, just email us and we'll put you in connection with them. Right? So this is what I want to share with you here. So we talked about competitive S&P cap rates, we talked about consistent renewal rates, and then we talked about also multiple guaranteed income, retirement income solutions. Let's just conclude here on a couple things here, and then I'll share my client sales idea real quick. When a company is consistent, right, and follows through on their guarantees, A-rated company, Eric Olson, would you say he's consistent and follows up on what he says? Right? GFI and Corebridge, very similar. It's not luck, it's discipline. It takes discipline. It's a company that honors commitments, right? That's why it matters what company you represent and the products and the carriers that you work with as well. Behind every illustration with us is a family that matters. Every guarantee is a promise. Behind that promise must be a company strong enough to deliver it. When you bring together a strong carrier like Corebridge, a financial professional like you, who put the client first, you just don't sell solutions, you deliver confidence, dignity, and security that lasts. So with that, think about Corebridge and what it can do for you and your clients in our solution. I represent the annuities. My colleague Trey, who couldn't be here, he represents the life insurance. Formerly, we had a other gentleman named Bill, and he moved on to another, he went more to an independent type of company. But Trey, Bryce has Trey's contact information. He's not new with Corebridge AIG, but he's new to the life team. So if you have do our term needs, Trey's your guy to go to on that, and my team is for annuities. So let me conclude with one last thing on this client sales idea. I want you to kind of use your wrists and fingers. How about that? We ate lunch, so we're a little drowsy, but I promise this is going to be very light. You in the back, you can follow on too.
Okay, I'm following.
Awesome. I have no idea what he just said.
He's following.
Okay. You're awesome. We love you.
Hello.
Oh my God.
I love that guy. Anyway, so here's how it goes. This is client quick sales idea. And what is this? Anybody know what market index this is? Florio, you're my client. I'm presenting this to you. What market index is this? It's S&P 500. You know what S&P 500 is? 500 are the U.S. largest stock companies. So let me ask you this. Do you own any Nike products? Do you drink Coca-Cola? You General Mills products? You shop at Amazon, Walmart, Microsoft products? Any of those?
All of them.
Cool. Did you know that when you use those products or buy those products, you're contributing to the upside of the S&P?
I didn't know.
Yeah. Pretty powerful. Thank you very much. Because it benefits all of us. However, the challenge is we cannot control, you and I cannot control the downside of the S&P. The major market index, you can't directly invest in it, nor would you want to. I mean, you want to have some of it in the market, but let's just say when crud happens, like the mortgage crisis in 2007, 2008, you got hit. Your 401k, your savings, your 457 that was in the market got hit, minus 50%. No, sorry, 40%, right? But, and this is, by the way, this is history back to 2005 to 2024. But what's interesting about this, the reason why I want to share this with you, it's reality, but I want to share this with you because what I do and what I share with my other clients is I share it with them and educate them about my safe money solution. I don't use the A word. My safe money solution. And my safe money solution allows you to participate in the upside of the market, but guess what it does? For real? It eliminates the downside. You see that? Easy peasy, right? Automatically visual. Does your 401k do this?
No.
No. Does the bank do this? No. Now the bank doesn't lose your money, so that's a positive thing. But let's talk about the upside. Your bank gives you some upside, but it's kind of limited, wouldn't you say? With my safe money solution, we not only protect you from the downside, but we allow you to participate from the upside of the market. How much? Well, in this example, if you just fold along this dotted line here, you will see this example shows you get 7% of the upside, called a 7% cap. Whatever the market does, you get up to that 7%. If it does negative, it doesn't impact you at all, you're protected. But if you get only 2%, you get 2, but up to a 7% cap. Today, my safe money solution is 9.5%. On Monday, it'll be 8.75, just depending on how you're willing to act today, or by Sunday night, midnight, or Monday, depending on the rate you'll get. But my safe money solution will allow you to participate in the upside. We can't let you have all the upside. If we let you have all the upside, you're gonna have all the downside. But my safe money solution protects you from that and gives you the upside. And every day, this is the best part of it. If you were to allocate a portion, I would say a portion, because I don't want to make them think I want all their money. I want them to put them in you. You know, allocate a portion what you would like in this safe money solution. And it can either be designed for growth, which is our growth crediting rate, or it can be designed for guaranteed retirement income for when you're ready to retire. That's how my safe money solution is. Well, what is my safe money solution? Are you interested in an illustration. Make sense? I'm gonna educate on what it is and not say the word until I come with the illustration. Because then when they see the illustration, this is an annuity? I thought annuities were bad. They're already in their mind is like, annuity's good, right? So this helps with the objection process, and it's general enough that it's a safe money solution. And here's the best part. When you buy my safe money solution, Florio, on Monday morning when you wake up and the market's red, what does that mean? The S&P and the numbers are red? Yeah, I want you to take a nap. Because it doesn't bother or affect you at all in my safe money solution. On Tuesday morning when you wake up when it's green, what does that mean? You're making money. I want you to take your best seat out to dinner, because you're getting some of that. That's how my safe money solution works. So that's an idea that's repeatable. Right? You're at work with your buddies. Oh, S&P 500 on your phone, in the red. I'm gonna go take a nap. S&P 500 is green. Ooh, guess we're going to dinner tonight. What on earth are you talking about? Well, Bryce told me, or Florio told me, I purchased from them a safe money solution that allows me to contribute to the upside and downside of the downside. It's my safe money solution. I need to talk to Bryce. I need to talk to him. It's an easy, repeatable story. You buy these products, you contribute to the upside. Keep your simple story. Does that help?
Yeah.
I've got a couple extra, anybody wanna grab them? By the way, if you were interested, you can, email us at annuitywest@Corbridge Financial. This normally comes in hard stock. The guy who printed these for me kind of gave me regular paper, but the one I have in my hand is hard stock, where it has the fold indentions already in. It's easier to use. So if you want some of those, just email me, say, hey, I want 10, 25, whatever, and your home address, and it's complimentary, we'll send it to you, okay?
How many?
10, 25, 50,
2,000.
not, no.
No.
You don't want to
No.
use the 50, if you're gonna use 50, once they're close to being gone, then you can order another 50.
I can just go drop them off at every house in the retirement community with nice to you.
Hey, whatever you need to do, but you need to talk to them about it, right? You can't just drop it off, because they're not gonna know what they're looking at, right? They're not gonna know to flip and bend. But the hard stock are nicer, because they're gonna flip and bend.
I know.
Right, not you flip and bend, don't flip and bend on me, but this will flip and bend.
55 plus house. I
So
love
with
it.
that, any
Thank you.
questions, comments, complaints in the back room? Yes? Yes.
No, I was just gonna share a story, just to kind of coincide with what you're talking about. I wasn't in the industry in 2022, but most of us know market was down 19% that year. My mom was gonna retire in 2023. My mom lost 42% of her 401k in 2022. Hardest conversation I've ever had with my mom, when she called me, she couldn't even talk. Crying about something's wrong with my sister. Finally get it out of her. Jason, I lost half of my retirement. Like, what, you know what? And I wasn't in the business, and I knew there had been a better way, but I didn't know anything, and luckily I got a hold of Bryce, and last year we moved 30% of my mom's portfolio into annuities. And my mom has her money invested still in the market. And the market rebounded faster this time than it ever has in the history of,
Yeah.
since the market's S&P's been around.
She
since
got
19.
lucky
She
in
got
that
lucky.
portion.
She got like, she hasn't still rebounded back to 100%. She's like at 89. But you know, she's been contributing and caught back up. But the more of the story is, whenever the market's going down, and when it was going down last year, my mom didn't panic.
She didn't call you crying.
She didn't call me crying. She just said, hey Jason, the money I have with you is safe, right? I said, absolutely. My other money, I can't promise you that, but we we put a bucket aside, so you never have to worry about this ever going down.
Again.
And when the market comes back up, and it did, and my mom had a decent return last year, and we'll see how this year goes. But it's removed all of the stress and the sleepless nights that my mom was going through, and how all of our parents and ourselves, when we see the market, and when your money's in the market, you're checking it every single day.
Especially when you're getting closer to retirement
100%.
or you're in retirement. You're
Right.
sweating.
You're sweating. And so, for those of you that don't know, there are employers where you're 59 and a half will allow you to do in-service distribution. So when you have friends, families, clients, anybody that you know that's over 59 and a half and planning to retire in the next 5 to 10 years, you may have an opportunity to take some of that money out and protect it. Because it's not a matter of if another 2022 or 2008 or the tech crunch, it's just a matter of when. And so this puts the protection in place for if that happens, because so many people are going to be retiring, and what happens if they lose 30% of their portfolio thinking they're going to retire next year? They're not retiring.
And some don't market, you know, I've had people in there.
Some don't, but
50.
yeah.
So I want to share with you what some of those companies he's talking about.
Yeah, I'll give a list. We send that.
You have your phone on you? Okay, I want you to Google this. In-service withdrawal 401k companies. Tell me what you see. First, going to give you a description, right? AI is going to say, okay, what is it, right? Not every company that has it has it. Not every company that does have it allows you to take it at any age. There's rules. Every company has different rules, right? Whether you're 55, 59 and a half, 62, or maybe how much you can take, how little you can take, and or it will say, well, you get the idea. Underneath that AI definition, you're going to see a PDF option under your. Does anybody see a PDF option?
Yeah, Allianz.
Yeah, it's an old Allianz piece. And I don't work for Allianz, but it's not about product. When you click on that PDF, anybody click on it? How many companies are listed that allow in-service 401k withdrawal? How many are on that list? About 200. Does that mean every client, every employee on that worked for that company has it? No. That means it's an opportunity for you to call, if you know this client, work with the client, say, hey, did you know that your company might allow this? Why do you want to do that? Well, you're going to retire soon, right? You want to protect, you want a safe money solution for some of your savings to have it grow with none of the downside, or you want guaranteed lifetime income later? You can potentially move over a portion of it and protect it before the market does any negative further result. The point being is call with the client, the HR, and you've got an opportunity to have the money in motion. Yahoo Finance published an article June 2024. So today, which was then, June 2024, they're the most 401k millionaires than there were ever before. Guess which generation that is?
Or baby boomers.
No baby boomers.
Gen X.
Baby boomers have already started their distribution.
So Gen X.
Millennials are too young. It's the Gen Xers. How old are the Gen Xers? Between 40 to 60. 40 to 60. You know people from their 40s and 60s?
You're old.
So on that list, you've got a lot of people to talk to. Hopefully, companies that you're
That's awesome.
familiar with.
That's
Okay?
actually pretty reminder. It's one of those that we call memory joggers when we're talking to the team and stuff like that. Like, who do you know that's like.
Thanks
this
for
or
bringing that up.
But that's powerful. I remember when Jason called me, he's like, dude, my mom just lost all this, so it's big. But appreciate it, Erica.
Thank you
you
for
so much for
letting
coming. Yeah.
Talk and staying around.
We're having fun.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
We have Jay, if you want to swing it over. We're we're gonna pivot a little bit to a little bit less of a